And it always sounds like I'm going to give a contrary answer, but I'm not doing it deliberately.
That's cool.
I think I've had this discussion with a lot of people, a lot of songwriters over the years. If you go back to my kind of era, not as a songwriter, but just as a listener, you had very, very few TV channels. You had very, very few radio channels. You didn't have computers. You didn't have mobile phones. So people's attention span was locked in to certain things.
Yeah, 100%.
The problem you have nowadays is you have got gazillion radio stations all over the place. You've got everything on the internet you could wish to have. You've got streaming, you've got this, you've got that. And it's really hard, and that's why I admire you two, because you are determined to forge your own path. But it's really hard when you're a songwriter to have the balls to say, this is all I'm going to play. I want people to come and watch me because of what I write, when you know that cutting through everything else that people have got their attention drawn to is very, very difficult.
It's very difficult.
And if I was perfectly honest, I wish I could have a decent answer that would answer your question. But this is something I have thought and thought. I mean, you will have seen it as you've gone around different gigs that you've done. The talent that is in these, Selby, York, and the surrounding has blown me away.
Oh, and there's others that must be bubbling under the surface as well.
Sitting in their bedrooms, not discovered.
Haven't actually been out or don't want to go anywhere.
That's the way about this. So trying to reply to your question, I think Dudley would agree with me on this. The way we see it is the same as you. That the bandwidths now is so big. There's so much to take in. But like if we can find a way, if there are good people hidden away that people don't know about in these local areas that do original music.
Yeah.
If we can get them out playing music, it does benefit us. And now we need to get rid of that kind of attitude of, well, if they get a gig, means I won't get a gig. So fucking what?
Yeah.
Like, you'll get a gig if you deserve a gig.
Yeah,
and if we all work together, we can have things like Set the Stage where everyone gets paid, everyone gets half an hour, 40 minutes, everyone can get some money, everyone can have the opportunity to play their own music. And if people don't watch it, we can only bring what we bring.
And everyone will have an audience as well, which is kind of like.
And we don't want to be owned by anyone. We don't want to be produced by anyone. We don't want anyone buying us. We don't want anyone saying do this, do that. We just want to do what we want to do, which is go somewhere where we can get people to play their own music and entertain people, because people fucking love it when they do it.
See, that's the bravery. And that's what I meant when I said...
Well, it could be stupidity. We don't know yet.
No, at the end of the day, it does take balls to do that. And I'm a gutless twat. I'll be the first to... No, hang on. There's a reason I'm saying this. Right, at the end of the day, I've been to plenty of gigs where exactly what you've said, where you can play a couple of your own songs, but really we'd rather you do covers. So I just do covers. And I deliberately don't play any of my own stuff. And the example I'm going to give is I ran a festival over at Rufford. It's in a small village, and we had loads of different acts on all day. And I obviously put myself on because I'm part of the.
Why not?
Of course,
right.
And I played covers all through, and then two people in the audience, and one of them actually said, "Why the bloody hell don't you play one of your own songs?" Because they'd heard me play before. And do you know what? For the first time ever, I actually stood on the mic and just said, "You know what? Sod it, I'm gonna," and I did. But what you're saying is quite right. You have to have the balls to say, I'm going to play originals, I'm going to get other people to play originals, and the more people do that, maybe it'll start to cut through.
Yeah.
But
and
it is having the balls
that come out as well,
Yeah.
The whole point of it is creating a nice, warm, vibrant atmosphere,
Happy,
comfortable, happy, safe place for people to feel comfortable to come and play.
Yeah,
drugs
and people are going to listen. They're not going to be pissed up in the corner shouting their mouths off, because we do have an element of
shut up and listen, you bastards.
Shut up and listen, you bastards. Because if somebody's playing, like the other week, we had Eve Thomas shout out to Eve.
Oh yes,
shout out to Eve.
We had her on, and she's quite a quiet player.
Yeah.
And obviously, we turned her up as much as we could on the PA, but then obviously we were having to sort of like just the odd one or two here and there. It's just like, okay, just
Yeah.
And people respected that, and
amazing
he did it as well.
and
And it was just great.
That's what we're just trying to do, just trying to like get people to do it and not be scared of doing it, and like create. If you can start off with an environment of like safety and support,
and
maybe that'll like go out. We don't know yet, We just hope we can.
It's a start. It's a stepping stone to say that there's somewhere. And Funny enough, you've used a word a few times tonight, but what you've just said is right, scared. There's a lot of people who are actually scared because you see all the crap when you post a song and all the rubbish comments and all that.
Just don't read it.
But no, I'm not saying I do, because at the end of the day, it's war for duck's back.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't care.
I couldn't give a monkeys. I don't care. But
don't read comments, people.
I've seen youngsters, and I've talked to youngsters who write their own stuff, and they're like, well, at the end of the day, people hate it. No, and I go back to something I said very early on in this conversation. There is not a song that doesn't have merit for somebody. So just stick to your own path if you can find the balls to do it.
Yeah, it's like when we do a gig, don't matter what gig it is, if we're at site, because we sometimes venture off out to Hull to play with the Ramble Gamble. Shout out to Ramble Gamble.
Yeah, I know.
So
I think they were at Finley.
And because people there haven't heard of us or don't know what we're about, we just sort of like every gig, it's like, right, if there's 50 people in here, well, if we just make one person go home happy, we've done our job.
Spot on.